1778, Captain James Cook, the English explorer, discovered a little group of Pacific islands as beautiful as any on earth, Hawaii. Surrounded by such verdant, overpowering beauty, it is no wonder the primitive Polynesian inhabitants had become a race of nature worshippers. Their spiritual leader was called the Kahuna. The Kahuna chanted his prayer to eternity, a song-like appeal to the many gods he saw in nature. Ku, the architect god who built the world. Lono, the god who made things grow. Kanaloa, god of the sea and its creatures. Strangely, even in this nature worship of many, many different gods, the Kahunas exalted above all other gods one supreme deity. Him they called Kane, the giver of life. The most fearsome of the lesser gods made her home on the great volcano, Mauna Loa. From deep in the crater, her house of fire, Pele, the fire goddess, roared her vengeance on any who disobeyed her, broke her kapus, did what was forbidden. The Kahunas, the priests of nature, wielded life and death power. Then came the challenge. A little group of Christian missionaries left Boston in 1819 for the Sandwich Islands, as Hawaii was then called. In 1823, reinforcements arrived. They were received in the Mission House, prefabricated in Boston, then shipped to the islands to become the first permanent building in Honolulu. Members of the second party were welcomed by a prayer, read by the leader of the original group. This was the Reverend Hiram Bingham, kindly, distinguished, capable. At his side, the Reverend Asa Thurston, who had founded the mission on the largest island, Hawaii, 200 miles from Honolulu. James Ely was a young Christian layman. He and his wife, Louisa, were among the new arrivals.
Things I've heard. Bigamy, murdering little children, human sacrifice.
But don't you see, Mrs. Ely, the people were not evil. They did these things out of ignorance. That's what makes our work so rewarding.
But how can you face them, knowing that they...
May I ask you a question, Mrs. Ely?
Certainly.
Why did you and your husband come here? He isn't a minister. Why did you take up this work?
To be honest, I did my best to persuade James against it. I finally agreed to come on one condition.
Yes?
James promised that if we got here, and it didn't work out, that is, if we weren't happy and weren't accomplishing anything, we'd take the first ship home.
That amounts to putting the people and us on trial.
In a way, I suppose it does.
Attention, everyone. I would like to suggest that our new friends get some rest. Later today, King Leo Leho has arranged a real Hawaiian feast of welcome, a luau.
The King's luau was proving a colorful, novel, thrilling experience. To all except the Elys. James and Louisa were still nervous and uneasy. Then the missionaries were aware of a strange but traditional sound. The song of the royal chanter, heralding the approach of Liho Liho, boy king of Hawaii, son of the great Kamehameha the conqueror. Feather ornaments, kahilis, also signified the royal presence.
Your Majesty, may I present our new arrivals?
E kipi mai hoi I Hawaii ne. In your language, welcome to Hawaii, and may you be happy here.
I'm worried about those two.
I've been talking to Mrs. Ely. She didn't want to come at all. In fact, she did everything she could to prevent it.
What about her husband?
I think he was accepted because of his father's influence. The deacon wanted his son to be a minister, but James wasn't sure. So they compromised.
And they sent the boy out here.
They seem a nice enough young couple, but in the wrong post, they could do more harm than good. We must be very careful where we send them.
You have some place in mind.
Kona.
I see. You're counting on Kapiolani.
With Kapiolani's help, I think the Elis could do useful service. Besides, we have nobody else to send. And we promised her when we left that the post would be filled.
All right. We'll trust the Elis to Kapiolani. And God.
I'll tell her.
James, that girl. Oh, shucks.
Disgusting. Depends on the point of view, Mrs. Ely. For the Hawaiians, the hula's a sacred ceremonial dance telling a story.
What story does this one tell?
Actually, she's giving you a formal welcome to their island. Would you like to hear something about where you're going?
Yes, we certainly would.
You've been assigned to our old post at Kona. We left when the king moved his capital to Lahaina.
Where is Kona?
On the main island of the group, about 200 miles from here.
200 miles?
Well, will we be alone there?
You'll be among some of the strongest Christians in the islands. You'll have all the help you need.
From whom, if we're to be alone?
From one of the most remarkable women and one of the finest Christians I've ever known. Kapiolani.
Kapiolani?
A high chief's daughter. The amazing thing is, when we first arrived here, she was one of the lowest. Dirty, slovenly, a drunkard, living with 2 husbands. She had no children alive, so you can presume the worst. Yet, Kapiolani was among the first to come to us, to be converted. It was like a miracle. She became a new woman, an entirely new woman. She never touched liquor again. She dismissed one of her husbands and lived faithfully with the other. It was as if she had been waiting all of her life for Christ's message. She became a tower of strength in our little church. And since we've left, we've been depending on Kapiolani to hold the church together.
From Oahu to the island of Hawaii, where Kona is located, is 200 miles, a considerable distance. Here in Kona, Mr. Thurston had established the first Christian church in the islands, in a large grass hut. Here, Kapiolani was still conducting services, as Mr. Thurston had taught her. Inside, it was a strange sort of service. A nearly empty church. A few huddled, frightened people in attendance. Even these few seemed anxious to get away. By the time the service ended, only Kapiolani herself and her husband Naihe were left.
What is wrong, Naihe? Before, even after the missionaries left, our church was filled every Sunday.
I know.
Now, every week, there are fewer of us. Soon we will be alone in our church. Why?
I learned the reason only this morning, Kapiolani. The kahuna is back.
The kahuna.
At a secret shrine high on the mountain slope, the kahuna was at work. He had already shaken the faith of the people, emptied the church. But for complete victory, he must now destroy Kapiolani's faith by demonstrating the power of his gods, by destroying her husband, Naihe. Over a burning lock of Naihe's hair, he chanted the Pule Ana Ana, the terrible pagan prayer of death, dooming Naihe to die. Now, into this critical situation, completely different from what they had been led to expect, came James and Louisa Ely, nervous, uncertain, inexperienced.
A canoe gone. A canoe? From Kailua. Any haole? Two, a man, any woman.
They were face to face with centuries of deep, ingrained pagan fears and beliefs. The woman on whom they had been told to depend was herself in desperate need.
Aloha! You are welcome. So welcome. You have come just in time. I'm Kapiolani.
I'm James Ely, and this is my wife, Louisa.
We will have a meeting and a prayer at once. There is so little time.
Oh, please, we must rest first. My wife is ill and exhausted. 200 miles in a small ship in a canoe.
You are right. We take you to house. Then we have a meeting.
Is there anything I can do for you, my dear?
No. No. How could you do it, James?
Do what?
Bring me to a place like this, thousands of miles from home, to live in a shack. Nothing but salt water to drink and to wash, and only insects and dust. I've tried, James. You know I have. And the people, they mean to be friendly, but...
I know. These people expect something of me. Whatever it is, I wonder if I have it to give.
Let's go home, James. Now, today.
I can't, Louisa, not yet. Not without trying at all. We'll stay for a while, and if nothing's improved here, I'll write Reverend Thurston.
You promise?
I promise. Now, I must go to the church. The people expect me to hold a meeting.
You're not going to leave me here alone?
Unless you want to come.
No.
You'll be perfectly safe here. And the people are waiting. Just as Elijah, the appointed prophet of the Lord, defied the 450 priests of the false god Baal, just as Elijah's faith brought down the sacred fires of heaven to consume the sacrifice, so have the white missionaries from afar come here to defy the false heathen gods and to prove that Jehovah alone is the true God. This is ridiculous. Just you and I. You said the people wanted a meeting. Where are they?
They are afraid.
Afraid of what?
Of Pele, fire goddess, and her vengeance. Kahuna says she's angry.
The kahuna? You mean the native priest? Oh, but that's ridiculous. You don't believe that, or your husband.
I do not, but Naihe.
He believes the kahuna?
Because he is dying. The kahuna prayed the prayer of death, Pule Ana Ana, and now he dies.
Oh, but that just can't be.
Can. In the old days, always, when the kahuna prayed the Ana Ana, the man would die.
Pure superstition. With a little real faith.
That's why I'm so glad you came. We need you. You can break the kahuna's power and restore my people's faith.
I'm only one man. I can't... Please don't expect miracles. What is it?
The earth shudders. It is the volcano, Mauna Loa. The people will say, it's Pele. My wife.
Here, dearest, don't be frightened.
Now trouble had indeed reached its zenith. The slumbering volcano, reputed home of Pele, the fire goddess, had awakened in a roaring blast of fury. The whole island quaked and rumbled. The people cowered in fear. Wasn't this just what their priest, the kahuna, had predicted? Pele was angry and would destroy them all. Only 200 miles away, Honolulu seemed like another world, until the packet boat brought a letter from James Ely to Mr. Thurston and Mr. Bingham.
So you can see, Mr. Thurston, that my remaining here longer is useless. Even before the volcano began erupting, my work proved ineffective. The people have reverted completely to their pagan beliefs. Both Mrs. Ely and myself would appreciate your asking the first vessel to put in here and pick us up. Sincerest regard, James Ely.
It came by packet this morning.
Sounds pretty hopeless, Asa.
It's all my fault. I shouldn't have talked you into sending him.
Don't blame yourself. It might have worked out. Except for that confounded volcano.
It wasn't the volcano. Our mistake was in expecting somebody else to give Ely the faith that he lacked in himself.
What are we going to do?
It's all arranged. I'm taking the same boat back that brought this.
A few days later, back in Kona, while Ely was awaiting a reply to his letter, he received a summons from Kapiolani. He found her in the church at prayer.
They said you wanted to talk to me.
You really going?
There's no reason to stay. I can do nothing. And it's killing my wife. Your people's beliefs are too strong.
But the Reverend Thurston taught, if we had faith, miracles happen.
I know that. The Bible's full of them, but in our lives...
But why our lives different? When you first came, you said it was like Elijah and the false god.
Val.
When Elijah defied the false god, what did he do?
He called down the lightning from heaven to burn up the sacrifice, demonstrate the power of the true God.
And the people believed and worshipped the Akua Jehovah.
But it took a miracle.
Now I know. I know now what I must do.
I want to thank you for all you've done for us. We are grateful.
If my people believe Akua Jehovah again, if false gods are destroyed, will you stay?
You mean if a miracle happens?
Will you stay?
Yes, of course, but...
If you do not see me more, the power of Pele is greater than my faith. But if we meet again, our eyes will smile, and it will be very happy time for all of us.
Epele, Epele, Epele. High atop Kilauea crater, the kahuna's chant was triumphant. With the help of Pele, the goddess of the volcano, he would be victorious. Never again would his powers, his beliefs be threatened by the white missionaries. Once more, his gods would be supreme in the islands.
Sahi said he must stop her.
Stop who?
Kapiolani, the whole island knows. She goes to the volcano. But why? To prove that your God is greater than Pele, like Elijah. Elijah?
The story of Elijah. I told her how the prophet defied Baal. And now she wants to risk her life.
Hurry, she will die.
This is something I must do. I owe them this much.
No, James. You could be killed, too.
Yes, I could.
But what will become of me, left here all alone?
You know, that's what's been wrong with us all the time. We've worried only about ourselves, not what we came here to do. I'll be careful.
It was true. Kapiolani was indeed on her way up the mountain, determined to make one final desperate gesture of defiance in support of her new faith. Deserted by her people, her husband dying, condemned to death by the kahuna, disappointed by the Haole missionaries, Kapiolani was on her way to the crater of an erupting volcano to defy false gods like Elijah did. On the rim of the crater, the kahuna halted her, issued a final dire warning.
Go back! Go back! You make Pele angry. You break Kapu. We all die in sacred fire.
But in open defiance of Pele, Kapiolani first picked sacred ohelo berries, prepared to break all the deadly kapus one by one. Defiantly, Kapiolani moved to the very brink of the crater, the most terrifying phenomenon in all nature, directly below. The beliefs and fears of centuries seemed to cry out to her. You break Kapu, you die.
Hear my son, Pele. It is I, Kapiolani. I defy you. I break your cup.
And the fiery fountains boiled higher.
See? I eat the sacred ohelo berry.
Another terrible insult. The terrified men and women huddled low, afraid to run, afraid to stay. Truly, Pele was furious.
I throw stones into your house of fire.
Now the insulting pebbles seemed to inflame the fiery goddess. Then James Ely arrived and marveled. There was Kapiolani, alone, defying every superstition, every primitive fear of her people. Depending on no one, nothing but her faith.
Kill me now, Pele, or your power is broken forever.
Now the furies of a pagan hell roared loose below.
Kill me, or my God only will be worshipped in our island.
Fountains of fire rose almost to their feet. Kapiolani disappeared in smoke. Forever they were certain. But when the smoke cleared slightly, when from the terrors of nature a people have fashioned and worshipped a spirit of evil, blessed be the voice of a teacher who calls to them, set yourself free. So, inspired by Kapiolani, wrote the great English poet Tennyson. Truly, she had vanquished the false gods in what has been called one of the finest acts of courage in all Christian annals.
Your letter worried me. I decided to investigate firsthand.
I can understand that.
There'll be a ship within a week.
I'm not going. I want to stay here.
But you said that...
She convinced me. My place is here. I want to stay.
Kapiolani?
She was willing to give her life for her God. She had faith strong enough to give to everyone, even to me.
Within a year, a new, devout, self-confident James Ely was ordained a minister. Today, we realize that Kapiolani accomplished far, far more than any of the missionaries could realize at the time. The little grass hut village, Honolulu, has become a beautiful, modern, thriving city of 250,000 people, crossroads of the Pacific. And in Honolulu and throughout Kapiolani's beloved Hawaiian Islands today, beautiful, modern churches of all denominations stand as living memorials to the steadfast, courageous heroine of the volcano, Kapiolani. In the words of Tennyson's poem, great and greater and greatest of women.